This podcast provides discussions on sensitive topics that may trigger some listeners. Content in this podcast should not be construed as medical or doctor-recommended advice. If any listener has a medical concern, consult with a registered professional.
Dear Dysfunctional Diaries.
How old were you when you sort of had that feeling that, I don't know how to word it, that you're not in the correct body, or you have that sense of, oh, I am transgender?
Well, I should go to saying I'm aromantically asexual, so I don't really...
You may have to explain that to me.
It's basically little to no romantic or sexual attraction.
A stack of 64.
A stack of 64 hormone pills, you take them all at once. Fills up 3 haunches of hunger. The first person I came out to was my mum.
Right.
And just to grasp the balls a little bit and to bait the audience into listening a bit more, that was the worst decision of my entire life.
You are trans, and you are about to come out to your mum, and once you have come out to your mum, you find out that she publicly... I had something good.
I think we should fade the podcast in somewhere around here and just pretend that we've begun.
No, I have to clap every time to sync up the audio, so every single one of them is probably going to start. Well, I'll probably get rid of the clap. Not that I have the clap. Anyway, right. Third episode.
Yeah.
Here with Ella. Thank you very much for coming on.
Hello.
I really appreciate it.
No
So, where do we start? Where do I start?
Well,
obviously, when getting into this, I will fully admit I'm probably not as well versed as I should be about sort of the transgender community and what is sort of the right terms and anything. So I do say the wrong term. Just correct me.
Will do.
So just let me know. But my first question is actually, how old were you when you sort of had that feeling that, I don't know how to word it, that you're not in the correct body, or you have that sense of, oh, I am transgender?
It's very difficult. It's very much sort of like a lot of little things that can build up and sort of a general sense of stuff not really feeling right.
Okay.
But if I can pinpoint it, it was high school. I don't remember what year, because it was, high school was a while ago for me now, and my memory is short as it is.
Yeah.
But it was sort of. Have you heard the book The Art of Being Normal?
Yes, I have actually heard it. I haven't read it, but I've heard of it.
We were reading a little bit of it in high school. We went to finish it, but my class were a rowdy bunch. Never finished it. But I remember that book very awkwardly resonating with me.
Right.
So I sort of began to look things up a little bit more. I mean, back then, I didn't know what to actually search for, so it kind of felt like a little bit as if, not necessarily alone, because I found communities, but I always felt a little niche communities. I sort of found people who felt the same to me, and I sort of gradually built up the feeling of, oh, right, this is who I am.
Okay. See, I always find it so interesting. So is it a feeling that it's not, a flip doesn't switch?
No,
it's almost like a gradual, over time, I just have this feeling.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's always there, but you can never really pinpoint it. But throughout your life, maybe you feel awkward, or some things resonate with you and you're not quite sure why, and then enough things will happen and you'll sort of connect the dots, as it were, and sort of realise, I'm transgender, or not even that, like, I'm non-binary, gender fluid, stuff like that.
Okay, right. So when did you probably first, who was it that you first spoke to it about?
It was someone who I fancied at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's brave. As in, that's quite, yeah.
It was, the first person I was going to tell was someone else who I also fancied at the time, called, should I mention his name? I mentioned his first name. I want to completely out this podcast.
Government name. We know who you are.
Legal name. I'll call him Sam for short.
Sam, okay.
Yes. He was someone I was going to tell. Didn't really have the gut to, and then saw my interest in him wavered a little bit. And then another guy who, I'll call him Jack, just to not use his actual...
It's going to be so funny if these people are actually just called Sam and Jack.
Just
like they're talking about me.
Yeah. Oh, God, what's she going to say? All these embarrassing stories I have at my back and call. But so I told him once, I went over to his, I was like, I literally went, I liked you, I'm trans. I once.
Wow.
Not the smartest move, perhaps, but I wasn't like, year 11, year 10.
Yeah.
So actually, it would have probably been about either late February or early March, because I was
So how you would have been about what 17?
15.
Oh, 15.
Yeah. I don't know how. Did you come from Jersey? Don't you?
I
In
do
Jersey?
come from Jersey.
Do the high
yeah.
schools go up to 18 in Jersey?
Yes. Yeah. We
here,
do.
Here they go up to 16, and then you have 2 years of college.
Okay.
So I
There's
would
no
been-
real distinction between that in Jersey. I'm not gonna lie. It's just
That's
just GCSEs and then A levels, like sixth form.
Sounds nice.
But
But yeah, so I distinctly remember almost being 15, but not quite. No, sorry, always being 16, but not quite being there yet. So it would have probably been around that time.
okay.
And that didn't. When I told them, it didn't quite go so well. They were fine with it at the time, and we went out on and off. But gradually,
How did you feel going into it?
anxious as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell right now I stutter a lot.
I wouldn't say that you do, to be honest.
Thank you.
I've got a family member who has a bit of a stutter, but I wouldn't say you actually do stutter that
Thank you.
that often.
I'm always sort of self-conscious about that sort of stuff.
No, don't be at all. It's
Used to have
all
a very
right. It's all
bad
right.
one.
You can stutter.
Thank you. But at the time, I was completely lost for words, not even really sure how to describe it. So this is an embarrassing story, and I'm about to out Jack right now with just how embarrassing this is.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack. I know you're watching this somehow. I literally went on my phone and looked at a picture of the trans flag. I was like, do you know what this is? I had to explain it to him, so he didn't
Okay.
know. I was like, that's me.
But in fairness, there's probably no easy way
No,
to say it.
as I would later learn.
That's probably one of the better. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a bad one.
It was up there as like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I will happily divulge this a little bit later as you get into more questions, but there have
Right.
been worse
Okay.
comings
got
out.
you. Yeah.
But to keep your audience a little bit hooked,
Yes.
just grab them by the
Till the
balls a
end.
little bit, yeah.
Till the end.
I'll keep those stories for later. But yes, I told him. Unfortunately, we don't really talk too much anymore
Right.
because, dating someone and then breaking up with them a couple times was a
right.
little bit awkward.
Yeah.
I don't really talk to them. My friend, I'll name him. He's fine. He's cool. He's called Dylan. They were friends, but I know they haven't talked in a while themselves.
So how did it actually impact the relationships,
Well,
if at all?
see, I'm not sure. I mean, it impacted our friendship. I know that for a fact because at the time, I was he actually was the first person I went to. I certainly didn't dress like this.
Yeah. I like it, to be fair. It's a good outfit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The outfits from charity shops, but cheap.
Charity shopping's the best shopping.
It is
I love
nice
charity
and cheap. I'm
shopping.
doing
yeah.
it. I'm doing it tomorrow with my dad and my sister.
Yeah, exactly.
So get even more stuff for the spring.
Yeah.
But I didn't dress like this. I was pretty. I mean, the only thing I had was long hair, so I had this all the way through high school.
Okay.
He probably didn't see me as who I was, which is completely understandable, and that kind of caused a bit of a rift in our friendship.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him was for his birthday, where he probably quite reluctantly invited me to his birthday. We went to this arcade place. I don't remember where it is, because I'm almost as bad as with Leeds geography as you seem to be.
Yeah.
I know where I live and nowhere else. But we went to an arcade, like multi-level arcade sort of place, and that was the last time I ever saw him. But
All right. And how long ago was that? Sorry.
oh god, I'm gonna be generous and just say 2021.
2021. Right.
I don't.
okay.
It was either just before COVID or just after.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember which way around it was. Probably just after, actually.
Just
thinking about
after.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Right. And so when it actually, talking about relationships, I actually don't know this, so I'm genuinely curious. Does being transgender, does that have an effect on sexual preference?
As in me being trans, for me, not really, because I should go into saying I'm aromantic and asexual, so I don't
Okay.
really.
You may have to explain that to
Okay,
me.
it's basically little to no romantic or sexual attraction,
Okay.
so it's not really much of a need for me. I mean, obviously, I've
All right.
dated someone in the past,
Yeah.
and dated a couple more people. Well, a couple more people, 2 more people. One of them was
Mhm.
online. I dated those because on that very rare once in a blue moon, I sort of felt something, and then gradually it tapered off, and I sort of broke it up with them. But in terms of actual attraction to people, it still feels mostly the same. I'd say it's mostly different for other people, because obviously, if you have, I mean, are you What sexuality are you?
I'm straight.
You're straight. That's right.
Heterosexual.
The norm, as it were.
The normal.
Normal. But if you're looking for a relationship and you like women yourself,
Yeah.
it would heavily affect your romantic and sexual attraction to someone if they were cis or trans. But for someone who is trans, they're more so just looking for what they like, and maybe they'll be more open to a trans relationship, and they'll recognise that if they date a cis or a trans person, then it'll be different. That's actually where my sentence ends. I'm really bad at ending sentences, but that's sort of my rough reply to that.
Yeah, no, that actually is very insightful, because I've actually been saying to people before this, I'm very keen to learn, because I feel like I do know a decent amount, but I feel like there is definitely holes in my knowledge when it comes to certain like terms or any of that sort of stuff. But in fairness, I was actually one of the things I was actually going to bring up, because it's just a genuine question, but there was a recent news thing that I was reading, which in preparation for this, which was just I found curious, which was that the U.S. Supreme Court refused transgender bathrooms.
Yes.
In across multiple states. Do you use the bathroom at uni?
I use the gender neutral one. Gender neutral one, disabled one. That's usually the one that I use, and I use it very infrequently. I mean, I do drink stuff at uni. We've got the water here. I have a sip of it just to show that I do in fact drink at uni. Yeah.
Sponsored.
Yeah.
Not
sponsored by. Is it Evian or Evian? How do you even pronounce that?
I say Evian.
You know
that. Is it Evian?
Get that product sponsorship. You get some money from
we're
this.
Getting there. Some water.
But I do use it very infrequently. But I've not used the women's restroom now.
So are you sort of reluctant to use the toilets at university?
Kind of, but it's not the university's fault. Because I know that, the university is a very inclusive place. I mean, yesterday, I'm not call her Catherine, but I know it's Caitlin, I think. So someone came up. Yeah. I mean, we got a cat in our class.
We have quite a few, yeah.
She came over with a clipboard and was like, fill in this form to see if the uni can do anything different for Speech Week. Have you seen the Speech Week stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw it, because I was only in uni yesterday.
No, I only really saw it. I think it was on, what day were we in? Tuesday. Tuesday I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday I saw it, but that was mainly the first part. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No worries. So that was basically my point to say that the uni is a very inclusive place. I know that I could use it. It's more so just the anxiousness of going into a space where, since I'm not fully transitioned, I'm socially transitioned. I mean, look at me. But I'm not on any kind of medication at the moment, and I feel...
Is that to do with like hormone
Yes.
tablets and that sort of stuff? Is it tablets or is it?
It depends. So there's the first thing you need. I'm going to try and make a Minecraft comparison with this. I'm not going to.
A stack of 64.
A stack of 64 hormone pills. You take them all at once. Fills up 3 haunches of hunger.
A double chest of hormone pills. No, okay, sorry, continue.
So you take the hormone blocker first, so that your body no longer produces either estrogen and progesterone or testosterone, depending on if you're born man or woman.
Yeah, male or
and
female.
then you take the pills.
Right.
Or a syringe. I believe testosterone has the option of patches.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Well, guys in the gym do it, don't they? They pump more testosterone in to try and get better.
Get sweaty and
get a bit sweaty, a bit bigger. So, so it's the blocker for the current hormone that your body produces the most of.
Yes.
And then you have the pill for the one that you actually want to increase.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
May have changed since when I last researched this.
Yeah.
Because I've not looked into doing the medical stuff yet.
Yeah.
Which I'll divulge in a little bit later on, I suppose.
You can divulge now. It's all good.
I mean, what was even the question that we started? Oh, the bathrooms. That was it.
Bathrooms, was the main one.
The whole point of me saying that was that I don't use the female restrooms here. I use the disabled ones where I can.
Yeah.
But that's not the uni's fault. It's more so just my own insecurities and worries of that sort of stuff.
Right. Got you. Okay.
Same goes for public places as well. I usually don't go to toilets in public.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem very fair, does it? You do hear that and you think, God, someone should be... You do think someone should be able just to go to the bathroom in public.
People making a huge deal out of nothing.
It shouldn't be a huge deal. But how come... Or sorry, what's the stage are you at in relation to sort of looking at medication?
It's very much a stage where...
Because I was looking up how expensive it is, and like male to female gender confirmation surgery can cost between 10 to 20,000.
Yes.
And then with female to male, it's like triple. It's about 60.
It does look quite a lot. Is that specifically for like the bottom surgery?
Yes, bottom surgery. Yes, I don't know about the sort of like. I know obviously women have the breast reductions if they're looking to do it, and then obviously men have the implants if they're looking to go the other way. But I think this is mainly just the bottom half. But yeah, what stage are you at in sense of looking at medication and looking at having a surgery, if you ever are looking at having a surgery?
It's sort of the stage where I'm comfortable with doing the medication, so the blockers and the pills we were just discussing. I'm comfortable with doing those because I feel like once you get to that, the surgery is more optional. I mean, even then, the estrogen tablets and the progesterone, that does your breasts anyways.
Right.
From what I know, I must admit, as much as I'm a trans person, I'm not the most knowledgeable. I just thought...
No, that's fine. I'm Christ, you know more than me, definitely. So.
But I do know that sometimes the breast can develop a little bit weirdly.
Right.
But it does start with your breasts. The most you can do is you can go to like a clinic, not a clinic, you just pop down to your local pharmacy and get new boobs. But you
buy breasts.
Yeah, but you can get surgery to make them more substantial, as it were, or get them to be in a more correct shape.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
There you go. What would you say are sort of your reasons behind identifying as transgender?
Well, it's not really much of a reason for it. It's very much sort of
a feeling.
Yeah, it's very much sort of I don't feel right as I was born, and I didn't know why. And then there were these, I guess you'd call them callings, and be like, this body works, these clothes work. Imagine if your voice sounded like this, etc. It's like, yeah, that made sense to me.
Okay.
That's how I describe it.
Okay, and so what was it that, obviously, the feeling of something's not quite right, what was it that made you think, or made you feel, that gender was behind that?
It was the book, I think, the book that I read, and then the later research. Well, research for a 15, 14-year-old.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like...
A Google.
Yeah, I wasn't like hopping on the NHS website and being like, ooh, what is it?
Yeah.
It was going on like quite left-leaning social media. Amino, do you know Amino?
No, I don't.
It's basically like Tumblr for even younger children.
Right, okay.
Multiple different communities. So I joined a couple of them. I joined the Steven Universe one, which is already quite a LGBT show, so got LGBT members.
Yeah.
And I joined a general LGBT server, and I've sort of just began to explore it a little bit and found a lot of it resonating with me.
So where was it through high school, or like online that you found sort of more of a community?
It was definitely online. I didn't officially come out in high school. That was towards the end of the first year in college, because what happened is my friend Dakota, they were putting together the short films that I did film studies in college.
Yeah. I was talking to Alex actually, fun enough, about that the other day. Yeah, I remember that.
So we were doing that, and they were putting the credits together for the film, and they were like, "Do you want me to put your dead name, or do you want me to put Ella?" And I was like, "Just put Ella."
Is that what you call it, a dead name?
Yes.
Okay.
So the name.
So just for curiosity, what was your dead name?
I wouldn't say it.
No. Okay.
I don't. It's sort of like it's in the title. It's a name that you don't use anymore. It's not your name.
Got you.
Sorry,
right.
I don't mean to like.
No, not at all. Christ, shoot me down. Shoot me down.
I always feel bad when people ask that. I'm like, I'm not
no, honestly, I'm asking questions just because I don't know what's wrong, I don't know what's right. So anything at all, just let me know. But no, that's okay. A dead name. I didn't know that was what that said. Anyway, sorry. Continue with what you're saying.
And so my tutor Matt, Dakotah's tutor. He also taught us, but he was mainly Dakotah's tutor. He was watching over the film and he saw the name. He was like, "Is this you?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Is that the name you want to use?" "Yeah, it is."
Okay. So, but do you keep your surname the same?
Yeah, surname's the same.
Okay, right.
The only thing that I've changed is my first name.
So what made you like the name Ella?
It was generic.
Okay.
I was like, I don't want to like, I have the possibility to change a name. I didn't want to seem like all arsey.
Is it legally changed?
Not legally changed now.
No, but it's just in general it's changed.
Yeah,
Okay,
in general
got
it's
you.
changed on the uni system.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, on my personal account, it still uses my dead name.
Yeah.
But the registry, Ella, obviously you know me as Ella.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, but in high school, to sort of get back to the point we were talking about.
Yeah.
Back in high school, I only came out to a couple of friends and. Oh, Miss Broadbent, that was her name. Whoops. I've said that on live stream now. Hi, Miss Broadbent. Unless you just remembered your name and outed you on a podcast. I was a member of the pastoral team who I came out to sometime in before Easter 2019.
Were you quite close to this teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she was pastoral stuff, so like helping kids out, therapy and stuff, and she was quite close to my friend Dylan because he, no fault of his own, he got isolations a lot and detentions a lot.
Right.
So she tried to help her. She tried to help him out quite a bit.
Okay, got you. And so, how was it to actually, you've just talked about telling your friends, talked about telling teachers. How was it telling your family?
Oh boy, this this is a story I was talking about at the start.
Right.
So the first person I came out to was my mum.
Right.
And just to grasp the balls a little bit and
Yeah.
to and to bait the audience into listening a bit more, that was the worst decision of my entire life.
Okay. Wow.
So
Sorry to hear.
that's fine. It's funny to look at it in retrospect. So back when my grandmother was still alive, they did bead fairs, so they toured up and down the country and stuff. They were doing a 2-day-long one, so my mum was gone for... instead of leaving early in the morning and coming back late at night, she was gone for 2 whole days. It was either way high up in Perth or way down south, like below London.
Right.
Super far distance, trying to do it in one day sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Miss Broadbent, I've used her name already, I may as well keep using it.
Keep using it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
sorry again. And she was like, tell your mum when she gets back after Easter. And that was about 2-3 weeks before Easter. I was like, I'm really impatient. I'm going to message her now. And she was like, no, you're not.
Wow.
Yeah. So, funny thing, she ran what I thought was a left-leaning Facebook page about women's rights and about like supporting Labour and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's an anti-trans page.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Which I, very unfortunately for me, I only found that out after I told her.
Yeah.
And
So this is your mum?
yes, my mum.
Wow.
I am still, as I mentioned earlier, I saw her this morning, so I'm still speaking to her after all this time.
Yeah.
And she went out and decided to tell literally everyone else in the entire family, and also post it on the high school Facebook page.
That is so
You are in
daunting.
awe.
I
I'm
am.
amazed.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, to put into context, you are trans,
Yeah.
and you are about to come out to your mum. And once you have come out to your mum, you find out that she publicly
Yeah.
runs an anti-trans page.
Yep. And still does.
God.
She has. So since I told her, she has not like rescinded.
Changed
No,
views.
not rescinded. Not nothing. Arguments aplenty. I'll to shorthand what happens. Back when my sister didn't completely distance.
Sorry,
herself.
what is your family? So, have you got how many siblings have you got?
I have my older brother who's
Yep.
in. Oh God, he's 30. Christ, I'm older than he is too. Got my older brother who, yeah, he's 30. I've got my younger sister who's 14.
Okay, got you. And are they all say like they're not half or step? Are they all...
My brother has a different dad,
Okay.
but besides that, I mean, his actual dad left ages ago and I believe is dead now.
Yeah.
So
And he is your brother. It's just
Yeah.
I was wondering the logistics of it.
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
So back when my sister didn't completely distance herself from my mum, she's not like trans or anything like that, but they identifies as well.
Right.
And so yeah, me and my mum still very much fight over that. I mean, I was going to prepare some pictures, but I didn't have time because I had to leave down to my dad's, and also as I told you, my cat got run over, so couldn't really.
Yes, I am very sorry to hear about your cat. That
Thank you.
is upsetting. How Was it your cat or a family cat?
Family cat. But he was a cat who adopted us like years ago.
Oh, right.
He suddenly walked
That's
up
so
to the
sweet.
back door and wanted to come in,
Yeah.
and we just have adopted him ever since.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad to see him go. But what was I doing to that? Oh, I lost my train of thought. Something about my mum. No, she's a piece of shit.
So do you live with your mum or do you live with your dad?
I split it half and half.
Okay.
There have been
Are
moments.
they divorced? Sorry.
Yeah, they're divorced.
Yeah.
Legally, water's a bit muddy on that, but they
Right.
are in essence
They're
divorced.
separated.
Yeah, they're separated.
Right. Okay. Got you. Okay. Right. So.
Yeah,
A interesting family dynamic to say the least.
certainly.
What do your siblings think?
Well, I'm not so because of what happened to my mum and because of the fact that she told everyone else. It's sort of that weird stage where they know.
But you haven't directly told them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
So I know they're fine with it because they're pretty left leaning. I mean, close I've gotten to is I've spoken with my dad before, and I've heard. Actually, the only person I'm fully out to is my brother, my older brother.
Right.
Because we like to play video games a lot.
Oh,
Play
nice.
Minecraft and Project Zomboid.
Oh, sick. Minecraft is the best game
I
ever made.
love it.
Minecraft is the best game.
been playing it.
Realms with like just a group of mates in lockdown was peak.
I remember having a quarantine realm set up.
Yes.
And then
Literally, I'd sit there every day for like 3 months straight just playing Realms with the boys.
it got to the point where we, as you do with all realms eventually, kind of forget about it, but my mum was
Yeah,
still
and then you
paying
make a
for
new
it.
one about 3 weeks later.
Even
and then
worse.
Start again. It's just like, oh.
We left it for a while, but my mum was still paying for it for at least another 2 years.
Oh no.
At some point she was like, "Hey, there's this monthly purchase going out on my bank account."
Minecraft.
It didn't say Minecraft, it said Microsoft. I was like,
Yeah.
"Do you know what this is?" And I was really embarrassed. I was like, "No, I don't. I'm not cancel
Not
it."
a clue.
Okay.
So what? So okay. So your siblings, it's one of those sort of things that it's just not really spoken about
Yeah.
a ton. What about your dad?
That's cool. I was worried about him not being so, and I think way back pre-COVID, 2019 era, I don't think he would have been. But I feel that after my mum said what she said, I feel like what she should have, he did what she should have done, which was sort of have a bit of a soul search and sort of think about his ideas a little bit. So it's got to the point where he is, completely fine with me. He just wants me to have a discussion with him, which I haven't done yet. But
Right.
I would really like to. There's sort of moments where I do want to, but he works almost 7 days a week.
What's his job?
It's not like it's basically just working from home, doing office call center, not call center stuff, but like a lot of managerial with graphs.
Yeah.
And he's vastly underpaid. His branch is vastly understaffed.
Right.
And
so
they
he's
ask him to do all the work.
Constantly
Yeah.
working. Okay, so that is just right. So dad is fine, but we want to speak with him more about it.
Yeah.
Siblings, again, it's just sort of like a in-between stage.
Mm.
Mum is mum.
Yeah.
Mum is mum. And so how is that in like a living situation?
It's interesting.
Yeah. Like how family dinners.
Well, family dinners are fine mostly because my mum, me and my mum, because how it works is that my brother and my mum live in the same house.
Right.
Not really right now. He's kind of been half kicked out because of some
Right.
arguments.
Okay.
Less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
But they usually live together, and then so us three will eat, and it'll be fine because we have other stuff to talk about.
Right.
And then because my dad's doing some renovations in the living room right now, what usually happen is that when we eat, we take our food just up to our rooms or whatever to eat there. But even then, at dad's, we just watch stuff, watch Simpsons. Yeah, and then if my sister wants to go upstairs on her own, me and my dad will watch like Gen V or something, which is a brilliant show. I'm really enjoying it.
Banging. I can't wait. The second season hasn't been announced for Gen Z. has it?
No, I mean, how long's the first season been out?
Not too
sorry.
long. It's been out for a bit, but The Boys, obviously, season 4 is coming out now, isn't
I'm
it?
excited for that.
Soon. I love The Boys. But okay, so you seem to be, you deal very well with the fact that this is the family's outlook. Your mum's outlook
Yeah.
on this sort of stuff, and that it's admirable, really. But other outside of the family,
Mhm.
sadly I have to say this, outside of the family,
Yeah.
have you experienced any, or like, how much experience have you had with anyone sort of, I don't know, bullying in school or sort of negativity towards you because of being trans?
in terms of stuff from strangers, none that I've experienced yet.
Good.
Yeah, but I feel lucky because I know that there are quite a few people who definitely don't have that sort of luxury of not being spotted. I think the most I've done is they've stopped now, but twice this happened to me on 2 different occasions. Someone comes up to me asking if you're LGBT, and then they ask for some money.
They ask for money?
Yeah, and they're like, please, I'm poor, got kicked out of my house for being transgender, and I need like 5 quid. That happened to me. That happened to me twice with like a month's difference.
On earth?
And I believe they specifically pick on people who they can identify as being trans themselves. That happened to me twice. That's about as much stranger interaction as I've gotten.
That is baffling.
It is.
What?
Thankfully, it
People come up to you and say, "Are you trans?"
Oh,
You
I
go,
mean-
"Yes," and they go, "Can I have money?"
it was the same person both times. I don't think they recognised me from the first time. So I was
God,
at Alex the first
what?
time. So we were filming the music
Oh my
videos for
God. Jesus.
what was this? Wow, you see how short my memory is. Who was the tutor from last year we were doing the music videos
Mike
for?
Best.
Mike Best. That was it. Yes.
Mike Best.
Yeah, we were filming outside the Leeds train station. Either filming or just location start, and you come up to me like, "Are you transgender? Please, I've been kicked out of my house."
I thought you were telling me the
transgender."
mic came up to you. And was like,
That would be a twist.
have some money, Ella. Right. Okay. Got you. That is baffling. But that's sort of. I mean, it's phenomenal that is the worst experience you've had. In retrospect, to a lot of other people who do get quite a lot of hate and quite a lot of bullying, especially in school. School's a horrible place anyway.
Yeah,
But
schools
it's
are great.
it's good that you didn't have to. But obviously, you hadn't come out in school, had you? To be
No,
to be trans.
It's sort of thing because people saw the post on Facebook. I know that people's mums saw it. I know that people in general saw it. So it was sort of one of
So
those.
sorry. So your mum outed you.
Yeah, basically. To all
my
my school and my family, which is as baffling as it sounds. So
That is. I don't even know what to say. That's actually the first time today I've just been speechless. I was literally. That is mental.
I'm glad I had to be someone to send you speechless.
No. Oh my god. Like I just can't imagine your own mum.
Yeah, I know. It's
Not to sit here and try and rub it in, but it's just it's awful. Yeah, it's not great. I mean,
No.
so sorry. Anyway, sorry. You
No,
were
it's-
saying so. Your mum was the one who actually sort of. How did that must have. How did that feel, not being able to have your control over when you came out?
wasn't great. Thankfully, the school either just forgot it or treated it as something they didn't say directly to me. So I guess at least I didn't receive much of the brunt of
Yeah.
whatever they could have been saying.
Mm-hmm.
There was one mention of it where it was like PE, which is already a nightmare, as you can imagine for me.
Yes.
We were heading out to the field, and my hair was. I mean, I'm not cut my hair down to about this length, but I had that about college. But at the time of this happening, my hair was about that long, and so as per school guidelines, I had to have it up in a ponytail.
Right.
And they were like, you know, they were giggling about that because, you know, as teenage boys do.
A bloke in a ponytail. Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it,
And they were basically like, you know, they have a problem or something like, no, actually, he's transgender.
Right.
It was like, that was the first one, like, yeah, they definitely saw it, but they didn't chastise me directly for it.
Right. So what are your pronouns?
She, they.
She, they.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Got you. Now I know. In
No
case I
worries.
need to say it. But so when with pronouns, because I am actually curious about pronouns. So is that purely just what you're comfortable with?
Yeah, pretty much. It's sort of, so I say I'm very sort of feminine presenting.
Yes.
And that's sort of what I do most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, it's going to be weird to describe it, but it's in the most honest way I can. Sometimes doesn't feel quite, sometimes I just like to go more neutral and to appear more neutral,
Mm-hmm.
which is where sort of the they comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I'll be wearing like a hoodie or something.
Yeah.
And then when I'm feeling more feminine, as it were.
Just sort of like a gender neutral item of clothing.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. I've got a couple of those. But then when
Mhm.
I'm feeling more feminine, I usually like to wear the blouses and
Yeah. No.
stuff like this.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Because I didn't know if pronouns was typically like assigned or if it was purely because obviously I know you said, as you said, you have more of an online community
Mhm.
of like trans people, but I didn't know if it was almost like you only pick it just based off preference, or if other people would sort of like assign it to you.
It's sort of thing where, so let's say, me, you know, before I transitioned, I was he, him,
Mhm.
obviously. And then I sort of as I drifted more to being, and realised I was trans, I was like, well, one of the things I want to do is to change pronouns to something that feels more comfortable to me.
Yeah.
There are times where someone's like, these pronouns don't feel comfortable to me, help me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you sort of get a level of community input. But mostly it's just you pick whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, which I think, in fairness, is getting more accepted. I don't think it is quite yet.
Not fully.
But, I was doing some research, and a study conducted by the National Office of Statistics across England and Wales, they did a study on people being transgender, and they found that it was 1 in every 100 people, 16 to 24, which, in fairness, I'm not gonna, I expected it to be lower, in fairness.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think, one, when I grew up in Jersey, I think I must have known about 2 people who were transgender.
2 people on the whole island.
Pretty much. I mean, in my year group, because in Jersey, because it's quite small, you sort of know most of your year group across all the different schools, because that's just sort of how it tends to be. It's not very, there's not too many people. But like literally, I must have been about 2 maybe.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just thought it would be such a lower number. I didn't think it would be quite as big. But obviously in the UK, when I've come over, I have realised that obviously there is a big community over here.
Oh, yeah.
So it was interesting to find out. But I did find it interesting to look at that sort of statistic, thinking, oh, it's actually 1 in every 100, because that's quite a few, in fairness.
Yeah, it is.
And I obviously know that there is sort of a spectrum to it,
Yes.
where it's a scale, not like you're either that or that. Like, it's a very wide range.
Yeah.
Like, you can have people such as yourself who haven't taken any medication yet, or you can have people who have they've paid for the surgery, they've taken the hormone tablets, they've taken the blockers, they've done everything. And so it's almost quite similar to sexuality in that sense, where it's more of a scale.
Yeah. There's no strict binaries to it. Just, I mean, gender dysphoria, that's a proper clinical thing. But then the rest of it's basically just self-expression, and there's no real sort of binaries or lines you can draw on that.
And so where would you say that you found the community that you have now?
Well,
I know you said online, but more specifically.
I drifted away from the Amino stuff.
Right.
Because it's steered towards a younger demographic. So as I grew up, I kind of moved. YouTube was a big one. So you get a lot of trans YouTubers. Jeremy Dodger, he's quite a cool one. And there's also, I don't remember her name. So no exposure for you, I'm afraid. There's another one. Something Noel. Olivia Noel? That's probably it.
I can't remember.
You do get exposure. It was Olivia Noel was the other one. I quite like them both.
Okay.
And also, still sounds a bit weird, but like Discord and stuff. Because I joined the...
No, I've used Discord. Discord's quite like a popular...
Yeah, it does have the reputation that, Discord kittens.
Yes, it does have that, in fairness. I've seen that, but...
I'm not in any of those servers, don't worry about it.
No, it's fine.
The main one that I'm in is for one of the backrooms writing sites. And that's got a surprisingly high LGBT sort of community, and that's sort of where I generally congregate now.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of
and so
trans
do you? Because I sort of looked. You don't have a lot of social media, do you?
No, not really.
No. So what social media do you have?
I've got Discord.
You have Snapchat.
Yes, which I check very infrequently.
But no. What do you have? Anything else or?
I have an Instagram by technicality. It's there, but I don't really use it.
Right.
Okay. Does LinkedIn count as social media?
Oh, God, no. God, no.
It's social media for corporate boardroom people.
No, LinkedIn, yeah. I mean, I don't think people use it to socialise as much. I think it's more of it's a promotion thing. Yeah. But in fairness, that is what Instagram is made for. Instagram is for PR. But people have just started to use it more in the social sense than the media sense.
Yeah.
Because it's become more of a... In fairness, I don't have Instagram. I have an account, and I'll use it maybe once every week or two. But whenever I'm not using it, I delete it. Because,
really?
Well, because I've been trying to lower my, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I've been trying to lower my screen time, because I've been I look at it and I think, if you actually do all the maths and your screen time's like 4 hours a day,
oh God,
that's that's however many hours a week, and then that's however many hours a month, and you go a whole year, that's like good. I mean, 4 hours out of 24 hours is like nearly nearly a tenth of your day.
And you're not even awake for all those hours. It's only 16 hours.
5%, sorry, 5% of your day. I don't know, maths. It's near enough, but it's a big portion of your day basically to just spend looking at social media, because it's just doom scrolling.
It is.
Like, it's just sat there just looking through it. Like, I've never had TikTok.
No, I mean,
I've never had it because, I mean, it got popular during A-levels, and I just knew that if I'd done it, I'd have not passed my A-levels, because I'd have just sat on TikTok and just scrolled. But is the fact that you are transgender have anything to do with that lack of social media, or is that just preference?
It's mostly just preference. Because even before I was trans, even before I knew I was trans, I was very much just using like aliases and stuff. I don't really use my real name online for very obvious reasons. Yeah. People in the Backroom server know my first name.
Okay.
Al, obviously. Just because I know them quite well. I've known them for a few years. But then I technically have a Twitter. I don't post on it, but I like to scroll it. Mm-hmm. But that uses sort of my online names. Obviously, Discord doesn't use my real name either.
Yeah.
I won't actually say what that account name is, because Discord changed their policy. So no, you have Discord. You said you have Discord.
Yeah, I used to use it a lot when I went like during lockdown. Like it was sort of the new Skype almost. If anyone remembers what that is.
Poor Skype.
Poor Skype. Yeah, exactly. But no, it's sort of the new Skype, isn't it? Where it's like you basically just use it.
The way that used to work is that you'd have your chosen account number and then like 4 random numbers to identify it, so most people have the same account. They got rid of that. So if I were to say my account name, literally anyone could find me.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do that.
No,
the
only
person I'm not giving promotion to is myself.
Yes. No, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, there's no reason behind that. But in fairness, social media, I think, in fairness, it has given you a sense of, because Discord is social media. Yeah. So it has given you a sense of community then.
Oh, it has, definitely.
With being able to actually connect to different people. Because in your local community, was there many other trans people? I
did look to a certain extent. I remember, you literally just awakened a memory right now, which I think is very impressive.
Unlocked a memory.
Yeah. I remember looking for like LGBT youth groups in the Leeds area. There were very few of them. I never ended up going to one, as much as I was going to. So there are people, I mean, in the uni there's a lot, there's Tara and stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of backgrounds in high school, if there was anyone else, they're probably, as closeted as I was.
Yeah.
So not really, not until I found online did I really find a proper community, because all I had was my friends. And as much as my friends at Twitter, they found out that they were non-binary. But at the time that I knew them, they didn't know that. They were, going by...
right. And sorry, explain non-binary to me, because I sometimes get that mixed up with other things.
It basically just means they don't really feel like they have any gender at all. So they're very constantly gender neutral.
No label at all, really. Basically. Other than non-binary.
Yeah,
much.
They, them, all that.
Yeah. Okay, got you. Right. And so, do you almost find it just like, are you all that fussed when looking for friendships and that sort of stuff and looking for relationships? Are you all that fussed about them also being trans, or are you just sort of, do you more just go off of like personality?
Definitely personality. It's very much like how do I describe it? When I look for friends, or on the rare occasion I might want a partner or something, it's very much the sort of thing where if they are trans, then that's just sort of a thing. Mostly I look at them as a person. Like the last person I was with, my friend Rose, I've been talking to since 2020. They live in America, so it was an online relationship only, yeah.
Okay.
But they're non-binary.
How's that then? Just online?
That was an interesting couple of months.
Yeah.
Twice.
Have you met in person?
No, because they live. I'm not going to dox them, but they live in they live in New York State.
Okay.
I think near Henrietta. Not to dox them too much, but don't go find them.
Yeah, their address is.
My name is Walter Hartwell. But yeah, so to get to them, I'd have to go to one of the London airports, since Manchester Airport doesn't go across the coast, across the ocean.
Yeah.
So I'd have to get a train, or I was about to say a taxi, but I think they'll bankrupt me. Yeah. And then I'd bankrupt me even more, because the plane is about £1,000.
Yeah, it will be over to somewhere like New York, in fairness. But so what did that sort of... So explain the time period, how long was that or is that going on for?
It was. We're not dating anymore. We're still friends,
okay.
thankfully.
Okay, got you. So how long was that?
It was twice. We dated twice. It was so there was a small period of time around March 2022, I want to say. We were together, and we sort of broke up, and it happened again, and I think broke off towards the latter half of 2022. It was mostly just texting stuff.
Okay.
Sparse video calls and all that.
Yeah.
Voice calls because it was Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally mostly just texting.
Yeah.
Which is interesting in retrospect.
Yeah, so obviously for a lot of people like myself and most other people, sex is obviously a very big part of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It can make or break some relationships. So in essence, I feel like, I might be wrong here, but is there not something else that you almost have to put importance on? You know, is there a level of importance that you put on something else instead?
Oh, I'm burping a lot, crazy. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
What's happened again? So I've been drinking too much Evian water.
Too much Evian.
It's not sponsored, but you know, if Evian do see this, sponsor us. What was the question?
It was so with so obviously most couples put a lot of emphasis on sex.
Yes.
And it can make or break a lot of different couples and relationships. But is there so because you obviously aren't really too involved in that side of it, is there something else that you place more importance on?
I think just more so just the emotion and being there.
Yeah.
'Cause I think part of the issue of a lot of the last relationships was that it didn't feel like there was much going on.
Yeah.
Because for me, I place a lot of value on them as a person and sort of the emotion of it above any sort of physicalness. So I suppose to answer the question, that's sort of what I regard quite highly is very much the sort of the emotional feeling of just being close to them.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So with that, do you have? I hope this isn't too personal. When you were in relationships, did you have sex at all, or was it just a thing that you just didn't do?
Well, we didn't have sex really.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was very very close and intimate,
Right.
but nothing sexual. I would say.
Okay. That is so interesting.
Yeah,
That's so interesting.
Well, sorry.
No, go for it. Honestly,
It's just that it wasn't something that I valued too highly, and I think they were probably just the only people who I date are sort of nerds. They're very nerdy people. So my
I
first,
rate that. That's good. To finish everything off,
Yeah.
because obviously you've made the journey here, as you were just telling me,
Yeah.
and all that. I'd say, in fairness, one, thank you very much for actually coming on and talking about it, because a lot of people wouldn't.
No problem.
I think a lot of people. It's obviously a very touchy subject, and I'm very much glad after today that I've actually been able to speak with someone about it. But it's very. I just want to obviously say it's very admirable that you would be willing to come on and talk about this in such a public way,
Yeah.
because a lot of people do struggle with it, obviously, and I respect that. Obviously, you've had clearly your own struggle with it because of things like your mum and other people.
To put it one way, it's a bit of a struggle.
Yes, exactly. So to sort of end things off, I would just like to say thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
I find it very admirable that you have done so. It's very impressive, and that is pretty much the end. Thank you very much.